Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, Buck, and Carta.
That's a great name, my friend.
Thank you.
I like how you buck the system, my friend.
Me too. I'm a fan of myself in that regard.
And speaking of things that sound like buck, like fuck, you know, I got a story to tell you. Just before we were about to record, I was in a car with my niece, and we were heading back. She was dropping me off at my apartment, and right down the street, there's this church. So all these kids coming out of the church, like, dressed up for something. I don't know what was going on there, because whatever, some kind of churchy thing. But there's a truck parked right outside the church that had, like, words written on the back of it. It said, "I eat ass," really big and green, as these kids are coming out of this church. And I'm just like,
oh my God.
I'm like, this is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. So,
oh my.
And this just happened like 5 minutes ago. So I'm just like, yes.
Wow. I wonder if the person did it on purpose and it was just total happenstance. Like,
I mean, I'm not sure if he was there to pick up one of the kids or what, but it was just like...
yeah. Hey, Junior, your mom couldn't pick you up today. So, it's almost like, like the mom and or dad, sent, the kid's irresponsible uncle to pick him up from church.
See, that's what it made me think of.
Yeah, an interesting segue.
Yes. And so, speaking of that, so previously on All Too Real 2, we covered we covered the pilot of a sitcom called Uncle Buck that came out in 1990, based on the 1989 film of the same name that starred Kevin Meaney instead of John Candy. So, that lasted like less than a season and it failed. So, what is it, like 26 years later?
Yep.
They decided, hey, in 2016, let's try that again.
Yeah, I mean, it failed the first time, but hey, second time's the charm, I guess.
Yes.
Naturally.
So this time, they cast Mike Epps as Buck Russell, the John Candy role.
That's right, Mike Epps. I was trying to remember the guy's name.
Yes. Mike Epps, who is hilarious.
Uh-huh.
When given the right material.
Yeah, he couldn't do much with this one. I mean, you can only do so much with this with that script. So
yeah, I'm glad. I think he has a show called The Upshaws or something on Netflix now that's doing pretty well. Another starring sitcom for him, and I'm glad that he's been able to find a show of his own that works.
Yeah, exactly.
This was his first starring role, really, because he's normally plays like the sidekick to Ice Cube or somebody, So, yeah. And, so on ABC, this show premiered in 2016 and ran from June 14th to July 5th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like
not even a whole month. So
yeah. I don't know. It's just it's Uncle Buck is good for a movie. It's not really
I mean, I guess if it was done right and you make something funny out of it. The problem the first attempt had was that they killed off the parents.
I know.
And made it really
and
made it really dark.
It was because he now has custody of, and he's taking care of them. Just like that was really bizarre.
Yeah. At least in this version, they don't kill off the parents. So
I was worried because the whole time I was like, "Oh my God, would they get into a car accident or something?"
Yeah.
Like, at one point, they're like, "We need to drive 400 miles." I'm like, "Oh God, no!" And then,
well, watching it, I was pretty sure they weren't going to because like Nia Long and James Leisure, who play the parents are actually well-known actors. So I was like, I don't think they're gonna cast well-known actors for the part of the characters they're gonna kill off after the first episode. But you never know. That does happen.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was a very 2016 type show.
Yeah.
That's an interesting era in television. That was like post Scrubs-ish kind of like surreal stuff, and there was sort of like a almost like, I mean, just from my perspective, I mean, I'm nobody, but like just it seemed like there was like an attempted move back to like mainstream like type of shows, but still like a little bit quirky.
Yeah.
And then like that lasted like a year, then it went back into craziness, Yeah,
and I mean, the problem, and I don't want to like lump all because that's the problem. Like I was listening to an interview with Ice Cube, speaking of Ice Cube, the other day where he was just talking about how like all black movies are lumped into each other. Like if Friday doesn't do well, then all of a sudden Tyler Perry can't have a career.
Right.
And it just doesn't make any sense because they're nothing alike.
It's like saying like, oh, Jordan Peele, it's got a new horror movie coming out, and like that's somehow connected to like some, comedy or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Medea doesn't work because Jordan Peele's movie didn't work. That doesn't make any sense.
It's that's the thing is, it's like that's how much all minorities are treated in this really weird way like that, where it's like it's just like everyone is like somehow like supposed to be like connected to each other, which I understand why things like get like that, because you kind of have to have like solidarity and stuff like that, but then it gets really weird where it's like the people outside of that group, like like you said, I can't describe it in the way other than what you.
But it's like if a movie like people aren't going to learn the right lesson from Everything Everywhere All at Once winning the Oscar. They're just going to cast a bunch of Asian people in movies. You know what I mean?
Right, like, oh yeah, like we met our quota, or something like that.
What they're going to learn is like, because people never learn why something works and realize that, hey, we can do our own thing that's different, and maybe, but that's a little tangent here. But what I was getting at is the fact that around this time you had a decent like quote unquote black sitcom with like Blackish on TV on the same network.
Yeah.
So comparing this to like Blackish, which I don't want to completely do. I mean, they're different types of shows, but they're both family sitcoms. It's like you can't. I don't know. It just seemed like they were shooting themselves in the foot. ABC.
Well, who was I was kind of confused. Who said that about like comparing like any show with like black people in it is like the same? Like who was? Oh, like the network?
Oh no, Ice Cube. No, what I'm just saying is that I'm just getting at the fact that this had an uphill battle because people compare shows that are black focused, to each other, and you have this really critically acclaimed show like Blackish on the air at the same time as this mediocre show.
Right.
It had an uphill battle right off the gate, in my opinion, because critics are going to definitely compare the two. I remember reading some reviews. I don't have them pulled up where they would compare the two shows when this one came out.
Wow.
And that's why I'm saying that I think the network should have made sure that they had a really good writing staff to come up with something clever for this, as opposed to trying to rehash the John Candy movie, but switching the race of the characters.
See, that's the other thing too. Is just like you're not even telling a different story.
No,
you're not even like adding like anything that would like make it a little bit different. Like because like black people go through different things than white people do in the street. So like like to make the story unique, other than just like, all right, now they're black and script the same. Like, come on, like you know what I mean? Like it's not. It does feel kind of just like cheapened almost. Like like it's not even. Anyway, I have a lot to say. Not really a lot to say about it. Just like how.
Yeah, but that's my initial reaction to it. And I mean, because like I also said, Mike Epps is great comic when given the right material. He's not John Candy. You got to write to Epps' strengths as opposed to not writing, as to just basically making him the same Uncle Buck from the 1989 film. Because that's what it felt like they did.
Yeah. Like, there's like other ways you could be, quote, irresponsible uncle without like literally having the same exact personality as,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and like, speaking of Blackish, now I'm going to be comparing. There was an episode where they, the dude, I forgot what's the father's name in the show?
I don't know his name in the show, but Anthony Anderson's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I forgot his name, but like him and his wife had to both go for different like conferences or something, and like he had his brother watch the kids, and he was kind of like this, like the irresponsible uncle, type of thing. But that was done better than this was, and that was just like a one episode. It wasn't even meant to be like a full on plot. And that one they kind of flipped it on its head where he actually became like the super responsible one and was like cooking the kids like gourmet meals and like folding their laundry and shit, and like the parents were never doing that, like
That's funny.
So that would have been a cool way too of like subverting the expectations a little bit. Like like it starts off with him being like super irresponsible, but then like they realize like, oh shit, like we've been like neglecting our kids, and he's like actually there like listening to them, and like
and I mean
stuff like that.
I mean, in all honesty, I didn't watch the other 7 episodes, so I don't know if that if it got to that point. But just based on the pilot that we're reviewing, it just didn't seem like, because a lot of the events were very similar to the plot of the movie, so it was like just certain things left out and certain things changed. Anyways, do you want to get into the the plot of this? So what happens here?
So pretty much begins like the same way as the movie did, where like he's like the life of the party. He's at like a sports bar type place that I guess his friend owns. It was sort of implied, and basically like a beer stacking challenge or something like that, and then he won the challenge, and then he gets like a call from his fiance, basically like just like in the movie, like basically telling him like, hey, like you're gonna have to look at like a real job here, like like you gotta start being responsible and shit like that, and then
his fiance is played by Regina Hall, who is a well-known actress too, so I'm just like
she is, and pretty much like almost beat for beat the same kind of speech that his girlfriend made, John Candy, like, hey, like, you need to give up your kind of like college day ways or whatever and like start having a normal life, kind of thing. And she basically is like, hey, you got to come to dinner tomorrow with my dad. He's going to offer you a job and you're going to accept it, blah, blah, blah. And then, just as he's, pulling up to the valet with this, looks like a old cab car that was converted into a regular car, I guess, or something. And with like the muffler was like, doing backfiring shit or whatever. And then he gets a phone call, from his brother, basically asking him, because they were kind of like figuring out like how, what do we got to do, because both of us got to leave, and there's no one to watch the kids or whatever. So then he's like, oh, well, we'll just get Buck or whatever. And then, she didn't like the idea, but didn't have any other options.
Because
apparently.
the kids supposedly scare away.
That's right. Yeah.
The other nannies and stuff that they have, but they didn't really seem that scary to me. So
that's the thing too. It was like, it was so like, it's like, yeah, I didn't really get that. I'm like, okay, they're just sort of chasing the nanny a little bit, but it just didn't feel like that like scary. So it was just like very. It was just it kind of fell apart. It wasn't
I would have gone to the extreme and like had them set something on fire or something.
Yeah, do something like that's actually scary. And so so they get and they don't really know Buck because he hasn't really visited them much and been around, even though like I guess they live in the same city. And
well, the way they talk about the fact that they just moved there from Atlanta.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then that's right. And then so Buck basically like he ditches fiance right in front of her, drives off, and then goes to the house and, proceeds to. So, okay, so this episode is only about 21 minutes long, and Buck doesn't really come into the picture until about the 4th minute. So
Yeah.
they essentially repeat the entire plot of the movie within like 16 minutes.
Yeah.
And then somehow that's supposed to build up a relationship with the kids. Like literally it's 16 minutes to like the kids hate them. And then like 16 minutes later, like, we want you to live with us. And like, okay. And then like, it's like, it was too fast,
Yeah. I mean,
like the
part of me almost wants to watch the other episodes just to see where it goes, but
well, that's the thing. I think they wanted to just get the movie out of the way and then build from there. I think,
and hopefully they went in their own direction after that. But obviously, critics didn't like it. So,
well,
yeah.
I mean, I'll probably watch them. I got nothing else better to watch.
Yeah, I mean, they're free on the Roku channel, so it's like, you might as well. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we have the other main thing is where Tia, the oldest daughter, is like hanging out with this guy, and at one point he wants her to send her like, sexy pictures.
Yeah.
Child pornography.
Well, yeah. Well, yes. yes. No. Legally. Yes.
Legally it is. I know of a fact that there have been instances where one teenager has had to like either pay a fine or go to juvie or something over the fact that they had their girlfriend send them.
It does not
pictures.
matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
it does not matter. The other person could be 12 asking for it. Doesn't. But the reason why it doesn't matter because I mean, because it's not hard to send or trade a picture online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very good reason why it doesn't matter.
Yes.
But yes, in the show it was like not a big deal. It's like
and then it even gets creepier later on in the.
Oh yes, I know exactly what
the bumper scene, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. Yes.
So.
Yeah.
So what else goes down? Like, okay, so he's basically this guy's trying to basically get into Tia's pants.
She's like a nerd, and she likes the fact that like a cool guy likes her.
Yeah.
Like a science nerd. Whatever. Like
she wears glasses, so that makes her a nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, she got glasses. That's a whole stereotype. Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, there's that whole thing, and because like she takes off at some time and goes to a party or something at his house. I'm trying to remember when in this plot it happened.
No, so what happened was, all right. So, I still got it kind of fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I watched it 2 days ago, so I'm kind of a little off.
Yeah, I watched it last night. So what happens is like he stays the first night, and he doesn't really make up breakfast. He just like pulls out some cake from the refrigerator and just tells him to eat cake for breakfast. I guess let him eat cake. I guess that was his version of
this is a history lesson, folks.
Yeah. And he said, and I quote, or I semi-quote, not verbatim probably, that has everything you need. It's got eggs and flour, and that's all you need for breakfast. And frosting, because apparently frosting is necessary. This is necessity for breakfast. I don't know, whatever. And then so they're kind of
remember that food pyramid when we were kids.
Yeah, this cake pyramid.
Yeah.
That's why you cut cake slices in triangles, because
that's why most food is cut into triangles. Like
like that's
pizza.
The whole point. Yeah. Yes, that's why pizza is also usually cut in triangles. So it's all they're like the higher ups of the food pyramid. But anyway, so he drinks all their orange juice, because he's like, just being a jerk, and then they're like, this pretty much is going throughout the day, and then he gets a call from his buddy who owns the sports bar, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if he just works there. He seemed like he owned the place. So I don't know. And then
but he had some kind of scheme where I guess I don't know if they stole these TVs or got these TVs that they're going to sell to somebody for more money.
slightly, yeah, he said slightly damaged TVs.
Yeah.
And he needs Buck to do the negotiating because apparently that's something that he's really good at, like his skill he has. And basically, he almost seals the deal. He takes the kids there, just like in the movie where he takes the kids to like some other shady business deal he was gonna do there or whatever. But that movie, he was gonna make like something like close to like $50,000. That's the other thing too. Like, it's like Buck was simultaneously described as like the super irresponsible, like never do well type person, but also like extremely brilliant, where like you could literally make like a year's salary just from one business deal. So it's like it just how do you square those two things, you know? But anyway, so like the John Candy version, that's pretty much like he literally said that like he would pretty much be set for an entire year just from that one business deal. But yeah, he's super irresponsible. I'm like, dude, you work for one day of a year and then you could live for the rest of the year. That's something that you should be like saying like, well, that person's so stupid. Like, you know, but whatever, that's no matter. But so he's about to seal the deal by basically saying like, oh yeah, something like the only color is red, but they're going to put him in nursing homes. So who cares? Which is like terrible.
Yeah.
You know, and then his fiance shows up just like she did in the beginning when she knocked over that's right. Cause right after he won the beer can stacking contest,
which was also in a triangle, I think.
It was, yes, it was a triangle. Yeah, that's a beer.
This all leads back to the Illuminati, I think.
Oh, the Illuminati is definitely behind the food. Yeah, food stuff. That's they put toxins in the food, and there's microchips inside the food, and then that gets into your body, and then it tracks everything that you do in your body. Because we don't have phones in our pockets all day long, every single day.
It's all because of Tom from MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody else is like blaming like George Soros or Bill Gates or somebody. I'm gonna blame Tom from MySpace.
Tom, there's a reason why Tom was everybody's friend on MySpace automatically.
Yeah,
because he wants to monitor everything you're doing on MySpace.
Yes,
or rather, his space.
He's still my friend in my heart. He's my first. He's my first friend.
My friend too. He's my friend. No, Tom was a cool dude, but yeah, he was definitely a member of the Illuminati for sure. But anyway, she knocked the king because she called him and was like, "Oh, how is your job hunt doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm doing great." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, you're not counting beer cans right now or whatever." He's like, "That's an oddly specific accusation." And then she knocks over all the cans. So we kind of had like it was attempting to be a funny bit where she like just always shows up to kind of confront him, but it didn't really go well in my opinion. It was just like, like, and so she kind of basically like ruins the business deal that he was about to, which again, he was about to make a whole bunch of money from. And her big complaint was that he wasn't responsible and didn't make enough money. But yeah, he was about to make a bunch of money, but that's bad for some reason. Again, not a whole lot of thought went through both in the movie and the show when it came. But basically, I guess the idea was that Buck was bad just because he didn't have a typical job. Like he still made money, so I don't know why anyone gave a shit. But like, it was weird to me, even back in the first one, in the movie, where it's like, oh, he doesn't even have a house. He just lives inside the Chicago Cubs stadium. I'm like, it's actually kind of fucking cool. Like, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's like I was actually just, talking to my therapist yesterday about that fact that somehow in this world we're trained to believe that it's better to have a soul crushing job than doing what you want. I'm not saying that Buck is the best person for that type of,
but
I'm just saying,
it's not.
But that is the kind of world we live in.
It's just, yeah, exactly. And Buck, he's got his own talents, and he needs to be able to thrive,
Yeah.
And he was gonna thrive, and his girlfriend just ruined it. No, anyway. So yeah, what happened was Tia, was her name Tia?
Yeah, Tia's the oldest. Yeah.
So it was because he took the kids to the sports bar, and then she ducked out during his negotiation, and then her boyfriend or whoever the guy was to her picked her up. And then picked her up and basically, it was this kidnapping of a minor. So we got 2 crimes going on. This guy's going to have a long felony charge going on pretty soon. But anyway, also Buck is going to have one too, as, we'll discuss later. But And then so they just repeat the whole thing. There's a chainsaw scene, just like but it's different because in this version, he goes to the
he gets the
wrong
wrong
door.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she opens the door and she basically kicked the dude in the balls or something like that, trying to like feel her up. But again, it's, okay. And then, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, he had been like asking lots of girls for their pictures. So yeah, it's like,
which is again, so it's a huge rap here, but like it was played off for laughs. Like it wasn't even like seen as like a big deal. Like it was just like, hey, bro, you shouldn't be doing that. Because at one point, he literally like even said something like you have to, I don't know, something like stop taking pictures or stop asking for pictures from like the young girls or something like that.
Yeah, at the end of the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to analyze that scene after we
sure.
Yeah. So I'm saving it. But
yeah, we're saving it for later. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because like there's a lot in this episode. Actually, I don't think that 7 years later would be on TV. Honestly,
no,
just 7 years later.
No, yeah, just 7 years exactly. That's how much things have changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, but I don't know. It's yeah. So basically, he saves the day, and then what happens? We get the parents come back because they're worried about things because Buck took the kids to a bar, like you said, and
that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was another inappropriate thing where the little daughter is learning how to twerk.
Yeah.
At the bar.
Yeah.
He literally says, "I learned how to twerk from a prostitute." I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is allowed on TV, like regular, like network television,
Yeah,
like not even HBO.
This
like
is ABC.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it.
Oh my God. I know. Yeah. And how she knows she was a prostitute? Does she tell the little girl?
That's what I'm wondering.
That's the other weird part of it.
So Maizy, the little girl, is just like, so lady, what do you do for a living?
You're right.
Yeah.
She's like,
I have sex with men for money. Like, what the fuck is she saying?
I know. And so there you go, grooming. So this whole episode basically about grooming, and it's Illuminati right there. So,
but I bet you people would be more comfortable with a girl twerking with a prostitute in a bar than a drag queen reading, Sam I Am or whatever to a little kid. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm sure they
Green
would.
Eggs and Ham, whatever that book is called. Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah, Dr. Seuss, whatever. Yeah. I know. It was just I really think that a lot of these shows, they just like they work because like we reviewed a lot of shows where there's like always like this weird inappropriate line or like, and I don't really think it was done with malice. It's just like
it's funny how brushed over it is on TV or in a movie.
Yeah,
but if any of this actually happened in our lives to people that we know that have kids, like if I was watching my nieces and nephews for my sister and I took them took them to a bar and then a prostitute was teaching them how to twerk,
exactly.
I'm pretty sure my sister would never talk to me again.
And it was weird too because it was like actually kind of like a nice sports bar. So why would a random prostitute even be there? like you know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
and then,
it's like every time I go to Applebee's, there's a prostitute just hanging
exactly,
out.
and they're teaching people to twerk. I guess I don't know. It's just weird. And then like they got like a twerker on the clock just there waiting to teach anyone who wants to know. I guess or something. I don't know. And then,
she's got to have her apple bottom jeans at the Applebee's.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So that. Yeah, and then they he drives them. Basically, then it's about like racing the parents home to get there before the parents get there.
Yeah, it becomes Ferris Bueller at that point.
Yeah, no, literally.
Because I mean another John Hughes movie. So because he wrote Uncle Buck and Ferris Bueller. So yeah,
because they're like, you can live with us or whatever. Yeah, John. Yeah, I don't know. It's just. It was just kind of, again, because like you got 16 minutes to essentially like wrap up the entire movie.
Yeah.
Within 6, and it was way too
Yeah,
fast
part of me
paced.
really wants to see where it goes, and I might just watch it just for the hell of it. The rest of the
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, me too.
There's only 7 more episodes, so I might watch
Yeah.
it. I might at least watch the second episode. So are we to the greatest instance of I don't know, contributing to the delinquency of minors in television history?
Not quite. We're almost there though.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the continuation of the
Yeah. What else
No, it's
happens
just-
here?
Well, at first is that the mom didn't want him to stay, but then she changed her mind, and let Buck basically live with them, I guess, or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, because he's
Because
supposed
he
to.
made them like,
He lives with them to become their manny.
yeah, they're man, yeah, exactly. So, and but yeah, the bumper scene. Oh yeah, there's a lot to unpack with the bumper scene.
Yeah, okay, so Tia's like, ex-boyfriend or whatever, the guy she kicked in the nuts, is in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Teenager in the shower
At his house, apparently.
at his own house. I really hope it's his own house and he's not just showering over at the Russell house or something,
I doubt it, but yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, exactly.
he gets out of the shower naked. And Buck, a guy that's at least in his 40s,
Yeah.
is sitting there. And he takes a picture of the kid's dick.
Yeah. I mean, oh, come on. Like,
Why?
and then he threatens to spread it around the internet,
Yeah.
which is
I mean,
decimate. Yeah.
if he doesn't stop taking pictures of these little girls, he says.
That's what he even said the word little girls or young girls, which
Yeah.
makes it even. So now you have two people in a stalemate who are essentially like now are responsible for owning CP. It's just like
Yes,
it's
it's
just
like-
played off for laughs. Like it's not. I mean, maybe he was seen as maybe he was like 18, but definitely Tia wasn't. And so him
Yeah.
asking for the photo is,
Yes.
I mean, like is
But I'm
basically
just assuming this kid is under 18. Because he looked under 18. So
even so, it's a crime, especially with Buck. It's a crime.
I mean,
It's a way worse.
You broke into this person's house and are
Yeah,
hanging out in their bathroom while they're taking a shower. That's just,
already a crime. Like, yeah.
I mean, the only people that do that are like Norman Bates. I mean, but
Because I doubt that the kid's parents let him in.
yeah,
So he had to have broken in somehow, crawled through a window.
No, the scene we're missing actually here is
What's that?
Buck pulls up to the house.
Yeah.
He introduces himself to the parents and he's just like, okay, so here's the deal. Your son's been taking pictures of been having girls send him pictures of themselves, scantily clad or undressed. And
So we need to like scare him.
he's saying it just serious, just like this, and he's just like, so what I'm planning to do is just go up in your bathroom now because I know your son's taking a shower, and I'm going to take a picture of his penis. Is that okay with you, Mr. and Mrs. whatever your last name is? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even know their last names or who they. Yeah.
Mhm. And they're like, sure, go ahead, take a picture of our
That's what
kid's
makes
penis.
sense. And just have a stalemate where
Yeah.
neither of you like ever like rat each other out because it's just so fucking weird, dude. Like, and it's like no, like, okay, and there's really no excuse because I know 7 years is kind of a long time, but not really.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so the
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
To Catch a Predator started in 2004. Okay,
Yeah, I know.
there was already 12 years in the public consciousness about this type of thing. So there's no excuse about 12 years later. Yeah.
I mean, this is even after like Catfish came out and other things
exactly.
about, like people being creeps. It's just like,
This stuff was well in the public consciousness.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they like the writers decided like, yeah, we should just put this in there. Like come on, man. Like, and like I don't even want. Like, I really hope like none of like the QAnoners are gonna ever come across the show. Like, you see what Hollywood's doing, like, you know, like, and
they're going to add Mike Epps to this fictional Epstein
exactly,
flight log that doesn't exist or something.
Yeah, he's actually living in Greece with Tom Hanks right now. They both live like in a mansion together or something like.
But that guy on the Upshaw is on Netflix. That's not the real Mike Epps. That's a lookalike.
Yeah, that's James Woods. Oh no, whoa,
wearing a mask.
That's really
wearing
bad.
blackface.
That's why I realized just as I said it. I'm like, whoa. I only said it because that's what they say that James Wood is playing Joe Biden.
I know.
It's like one of the new conspiracy theories that James Wood, the actor.
Oh, no, that one's been around since Biden took office. Yeah, before he took office.
Oh, really?
I think even.
And which is weird because James Wood is like super right wing, so I don't know why he would be playing Joe Biden.
Well, they say that because Joe Biden isn't really running this country. It's actually they think the deep state is out to get you, but they actually have this complete conspiracy theory that's basically the deep state has invaded the Biden administration, and it's actually Trump who's running things, but he needed somebody to pose as Biden, so he had James Woods do it.
But yet Trump's always constantly complaining about the 2020 election. So if he's still the president, then why would he complain about not being the president anymore?
That's probably just to throw you off the scent.
Exactly. You see, the conspiracy goes that deep, right? And but also too, so if Trump is really the president, then that means all the things that the right wing complain about are Trump's fault because he's the one secretly running things.
Exactly, because in one breath, in one breath they'll blame Biden for the gas prices, and then the next breath they say that Biden isn't really president, and I'm like, so some random dude is controlling, everything that's wrong with this country. Yeah. So
and also too, so like a lot of them are pissed off about all the military aid going to Ukraine. So that means Trump's doing that though, right? Because he's the president. So Trump is the one giving all this money to Ukraine. But you're mad about that, so that means that you're mad at Trump. You're Lord and Savior, right? You're mad at your God.
Yeah.
You're angry with your God.
But I think it all actually just boils down to that kid in the shower. At the end of Uncle Buck, he's to blame.
The conspiracy always ends up in the bathroom with Buck and Jordan, where they're in stalemate with each other.
It's actually actor B.J. Mitchell who played Jordan. It's all his fault.
It's sorry, Mitchell, you're done. You're done. So like, we're gonna get you, man. Like we're gonna send you to like the Nuremberg trials or whatever for whatever. And then I couldn't. Sorry, I was trailing off my thoughts. I couldn't think of anything funny to say there. So I'm just like, that's the show. 21 minutes, 16 of which were only about Buck and the kids, and 2 of the scenes have to do with trading CP, so that's awesome.
So in okay, yeah, B.J. Mitchell was born in 1992, so he at least wasn't a. That would make him how old in 2016?
24.
Yeah, so he was at least an adult playing teenager.
So, yeah. I remember a movie with Don Cheadle when he was playing like a 14-year-old version of himself. Not of himself, but the character.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that at least he was an adult playing in that role. But still,
it's just something that TV shows and movies just didn't really think about, and they just kind of threw. Like, for example, like in American Pie.
Yeah.
Where basically, they're like have this webcam going on, and the girls taking off her clothes, and they're just like watching it from their computers.
And she's definitely a teenager
in that movie.
Yeah,
and so like, and again, it's like it's not played for malice. They just thought it was funny and didn't think about like any of the implications of it or something.
Yeah,
it's just wild. I mean, we can do an episode on that alone, just of like the obliviousness of people, like when they wrote, like not even just about this, but just like a lot of different.
There's a lot of movies that are like classics that if you watch them through a 2023 lens, you're just like, really, that was allowed on film,
Totally. Like it's like you're like holy, and like at the time, like we didn't even think there was anything wrong with that. Like that was just And like for example, like the 16 Candles, like extremely racist stuff with the
Oh yeah,
Asian. No, as a kid, I mean, of course, as a kid, didn't really understand much anyway, so a
yeah,
lot of stuff flew over my head. But yeah, it's just interesting.
yeah. But I mean, in that stuff though, that was like mid 1980s. This
Yeah,
is fucking 2016 when this came
exactly.
out. That's what I'm like.
That's why I said there's no excuse for this.
No.
Even 2016 standards, there's no excuse.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking 7 years ago. I mean, this is like,
That's
yeah.
not very long ago. Yeah.
No.
Oh my God. You gotta love network television though. You really
Mhm.
do. Because they are an interesting breed.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, okay, yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
so do you want to hear some reviews of this show?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here we go from the Internet Movie Database. These are some user reviews. We have this was actually a fairly recent one, August 12th of 2022 by Angelo Ruiz or something. I don't know. Anyways, I can't. ANGELORWEZ. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a really short one. 1 star. Terrible. It's not a good show. Feels like an afterthought of some very creative writer or a writer's secretary imitation of the writer's work. The characters are too ridiculous.
Wow.
Okay. Here's one from somebody with a bunch of letters and numbers in their name that I'm not going to read out. Unfunny and not needed. There seems to be a trend of turning classic movies into TV shows. Sometimes it works. Shame it didn't in this case. Jokes were borderline childish and basically a repeat of every other sitcom like it. This one I'm just going to read the headline. It says Blackish versus Blackish 2, Uncle Buck.
See?
Yeah.
You're just talking about yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a 10 out of 10.
Oh boy.
This was written in August of 2016 by Miss Locky. Miss Locky, we'll call that. Okay. All the characters make this show. I honestly didn't have any good expectations when I first turned on the show based off of the other horrible family TV shows that last 5 years. Nighttime soaps are not my thing. Okay. And soaps was in all caps. Just okay. When I look for a TV show, I want a natural dialogue, comedic timing, good face humor, and not exaggerated high-pitched banter. I enjoy this show because it holds its own from the original movie. A great family show with a good cast. Each character does their thing, which I enjoy. The writers don't force the characters' humor. It's mainly common reactions to everyday life situations. I know I'll keep watching. And this was written after the show was already canceled.
Maybe they didn't know it was going to be canceled.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many people, maybe this is how their life was, how many uncles take their nephews and nieces to like bars so they could do like shady business deals and like
I said,
and
if,
also
if my
having like
sister found out about all the times I took her, oh wait, no, sorry, no,
Yeah.
I never did.
also too like everyday events. Okay, so how many events are quote everyday events where there's like a 5-year-old at a sports bar that's being taught how to twerk by a prostitute, and that she even knows what a prostitute is. So that's the whole other thing right there. How does she even know what that is? That's a little bit growing up a little bit too fast there. So like let's pump the brakes here on the knowledge. Like like let's have a little bit of innocence here for a little bit longer at least. Come on. But apparently it's everyday events. I'm unaware of that. But hey,
Yep. I don't know, Matt.
Yep.
So, yeah, so another television show filled with inappropriate humor.
Well, that reminds me because remember the first the one from 1990
Yeah.
also like really weird, inappropriate humor too,
Yeah.
because remember the guy she was dating was like some dude who like basically like a ticket scalper or whatever.
Yeah, and he was like 26 or something.
Yeah, he was like he was older. He's like in his 20s.
So there was predatory behavior towards a child in that one too.
But exactly. So it's like apparently they just picked that up and like, oh, that failed once, so let's try it again. It'll be funny this time. And then
we'll take the hero of our show and make him take pictures of a kid's penis. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like in that one, in the one from 1990 though, Uncle Buck, which again, apparently the parents died in that one. He was taking care of them, which is really weird that they went very dark with that one. And then he's like basically like trying to like build like a rapport with like her boyfriend to kind of like, catch off guard, to kind of make him feel comfortable so he could then like kind of drop the hammer on him.
Mm-hmm.
But like Uncle Buck is going like way too far, where he's basically like implying that his niece is into bondage. It's like, like he's like, I know what you're doing, but like, no, like don't do that, bro, or don't say that. Like,
yeah,
like it's like again, like writers just don't know shit. They just write shit they think is funny and they just put it in there, and nobody cares. They're like, sure, send it out, like. Yeah.
But with that in mind, I wanted to let you know that I do support fully the writers' strike that's going on right now.
Yes, I know. We're sitting there like shitting on writers the entire episode. Exactly. No, I agree. Yes, I support the writers' strike.
Like I said in an interview that I was part of recently, where we were talking about the writers' strike with Ryan Moore from New Realms Media.
Ryan Dawson.
Yeah, it's funny that people will point to badly written things and be like, because I didn't like this show, I don't think any writers should get paid.
Yeah, it's such a dumb argument.
They shouldn't get paid fairly. I mean, the thing is there are so many things that go into the production of a show that sometimes not even the writer's at fault. Like the writer could write a brilliant script, and then when it gets to the director or the producers, they're like, oh, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. And then it ends up looking nothing like what the person wrote, but their name's still attached to it. Yeah,
I was talking to one of my other friends about that actually today before we even started recording, because we were talking about the, like how, there's so much stuff like with Star Wars they could do that's beyond like focusing on a Skywalker or even that particular time period. They could do stuff from like the Old Republic they can do, but like, nobody really wants to do it and stuff like that, or they, people criticize how things are written.
They're starting to do that soon, which is good.
Well, that's cool. But like I was just saying though, it's like I said pretty much what you said, like how a writer might come up with a lot of cool shit, but then they got to run it by everything else, and then things get re-edited, and they're like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this, and then because that's the problem with having everything be a business, creative stuff a business, because the people who are in charge of the money and marketing shit, they like to act like they know about writing when that's not the skill at all. They're like, no, do this, do that. It's like, dude, you're just not your skill.
Well,
like,
the problem with them is what they do is they see something that worked, and then they're like, do that again.
Yeah.
Not like, but the thing is the reason that thing worked in the first place is because it was an original idea. It's like, oh, this Taylor Swift song is really good. I want something that sounds exactly like it. But
exactly, it's like the clone bands.
Yeah,
like you,
but like you'll get something like every song produced sounds exactly the same, or every movie. It's like, oh, comic book movies are great, so let's just keep churning them out. Not that I have anything against them. But, that's the sort of thing. It's like, it's been there since the beginning, though. Like in the, 40s, 50s, and 60s, Westerns were really popular. And it's like, oh, we need a Western now, and it's like, there are some good Westerns and there's a lot of shitty ones. It's like, but people think, oh, because this John Wayne movie worked, we're going to do another movie, that's similar to it and it's going to work. But it doesn't, because it's not written by the same people. It's not, acted the same way or whatever, it's just the same thing that keeps happening. It's like you got to let people be creative.
But yeah, 100%. And also too, it's like the other part of the logic is like, so if this doesn't work out, then you need to like punish or no one should get paid. It's like, again, like if any other industry besides like creative stuff, which I guess anything, think about it, but like artistic, like movies, music, whatever. If you try this mentality in any, like for example, like let's say, we were talking about Applebee's, just a minute ago. So someone goes to Applebee's or Fuddruckers or whatever, and they order a burger. They don't like the burgers. By that logic, nobody else who cooks at the restaurant should get paid. Like, like what? Like even if they're not on the same shift or anything, like like. I mean, it's like stupid.
Innovation is the key to creativity, and we've stifled that. And then things with like AI coming up, make it even worse, because you can just shoot in there and be like, I want a movie that feels like Terminator 2, but stars women, and then it'll write you one.
Exactly, and then you just like tweak it. Because I was watching a video by Council of Geeks YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And she was saying basically like we're probably going to be seeing a lot of like weird movies coming out in the next few months. And by weird, it's just going to feel like really clunky and like like something's missing. Like for example, so like I didn't realize the ramifications at the time either, like except for like TV shows, but then I realized there was a lot of weird movies that came out for like about 2 or 3 years after the writer's strike that were just like not very good. Like I remember one called Beautiful Creatures, which was basically about like a girl who like the whole plot of the movie was just really weird. Where like
that was based on a book, actually.
Oh well, okay. Well, maybe the book was better, but the movie. Have you seen the movie? I'm talking about then.
I know of it. I've never seen it.
Okay, so basically, the main plot is that. When the girls, like, you're born into, like, a family of witches and practices magic. The girls, basically, on, like, their 17th or 18th birthday, which, I guess Buck would have some experience with, unfortunately, when it comes to that age group, which, is unfortunate. But, anyway, and, but, like, apparently, like, you're just decided that you're either going to be, like, a bad person or a good person. Like, you don't even get a voice, like,
yeah, I mean, that was part of the whole, like, YA novel boom, too. That's what I think that kind of owes itself to. Like, where it was, like, the whole, Twilight, Hunger Games, all that shit,
Yeah, and it was just a really clunky... I remember seeing it with, like, my friend Aaron.
But,
and, like, go ahead.
Yeah, the biggest one that came out of that is, like, I think it was Quantum of Solace, the James Bond movie.
Okay.
The script wasn't fully written when they started filming, and then the writer's strike happened.
That's right. She mentioned that, actually. Yeah, the quantum.
So the director and Daniel Craig basically finished the script.
Daniel Craig, is he even a writer? Is he?
No, he's just an actor.
So he's not even like also a writer. Okay, so he's just like, all right.
Because if he was a writer, he'd probably be in the guild, and he probably wouldn't want to break So basically, that movie, it isn't bad per se. It's just not as good as most Bond movies because it just seems like something's missing. And that thing that's missing is like the heart of a writer. So
yeah, it was just, I remember, because like the effects lasted a good few years after the strike, even because so much were delayed and they had to keep pumping out content to keep the people entertained with the circus and peanuts, not penis, just because of the subject matter we're talking about. But and
I know we're totally off the topic of Uncle Buck, but still,
I know we're just just ripping at this. Yeah, we can end this if you want.
We will in a minute here. But the other thing too is like about this thing is like ABC's fall schedule, because of the writer's strike, they don't have any scripted television that they can air. Everything is reality TV, and then it's like 1 or 2 nights a week they're showing double repeat episodes of Abbott Elementary.
Wow.
Everything else on the network is a reality TV show.
Yeah, come June or July, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of reality shows showing up.
And that's why I say the last writer's strike is the reason we had Donald Trump as president.
Good point, because of The Apprentice. That
it
got
made
really
him
big
more
again.
popular, and then he became president. So My thing is
So,
pay writers fairly, or we're gonna end up with another fucking Donald Trump presidency.
Because he'll start his own new reality show.
Or we're gonna have like, you know, one of the contestants on Farmer Wants a Wife is gonna be president, and which is an actual show.
I've heard of that show. Yeah, I know. I haven't watched it, but
I just find it the funniest fucking title ever.
Or worse, someone from like MILF Manor.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that show?
Yeah. Or the CW has coming out soon, Fuckboy Island.
Is that for real, or are you just mid-joking?
No, it's true. It's called
seriously?
It's F-Boy Island. But, you know, obviously it doesn't say fuck. But yeah, F-Boy Island is an actual show.
Fuckboy is like a pejorative term. Like, it's not something that like you want to be called. Like, it's like a derogatory term. If you call someone a fuckboy, you're basically like saying you're a piece of shit.
But that's a show that's going to be on the CW very soon. So I guess it was already I think on HBO Max or one of the other streamers for a season or two. So yeah.
CW is basically going all reality show apparently.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they're going reality show. I mean, because they kind of have to. They're going reality show and foreign shows. So yeah, for a lot of their shit. But yeah, anyways, any final thoughts on Uncle Buck here?
Just you know, don't take pictures of genitals of minors. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a very good, solid piece of advice. Don't really think you need to be told not to do that. I think that should just be common sense, common morality. Mm-hmm. But apparently some people need to be told. So, Buck, don't do that, bro.
Yes.
You know, I know that your intentions were good, ? I don't know. But don't do it. And also, don't use that to then blackmail said minor, because that minor also has inappropriate pictures on their phone. Like, can we just not do that? That would be like a nice little simple rule to follow in perpetuity, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Just, you know, for me, I'm just saying. I think that's a reasonable request.
I mean, yeah, like that, that, and you know, pineapple doesn't go on pizza are like common things that should.
No, I like that.
I know, I'm joking.
No, I like fuck it. I love pineapple on pizza. You know what? Just because he said that, I'm gonna eat nothing but pineapple on pizza. I'm gonna put like 50 pineapples on one, and then get like terrible stomach pains from all the fruit juice. No, but seriously, pineapple and jalapeno from Marco's Pizza with the Parmesan crust toppers and also the Roma seasoning.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I know. My dad likes pineapple on pizza too, so I make fun of him for it. So that's
I love it. I can't help it. I love it. I used to love mushrooms on it. No, now it's pineapple. Way beats mushrooms out of the park for me. But you gotta make sure to take out the seeds of the jalapenos. If they leave the seeds in there, it's gonna be super hot. So I made that mistake a few weeks ago. I took a big bite out of one pineapple. I had to drink like an entire glass of milk just to get rid of the heat. So, you know,
good times.
Yeah,
good times.
Good time. Yeah, good time. Yeah, really good times to feel pain in my mouth from the burning.
And anyways, folks, if you want to help us out, you can actually go to our Patreon or our TeePublic and buy some things, and then you can pay for Sesame's next pineapple pizza. And
Hey, I'll do a mukbang video for you.
Let's not do that. Those are the stupidest fucking.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. I know. I'm just kidding. Those can get kind of weird. There's the one dude who became severely overweight because they kept asking him for food.
I've watched documentaries about him. It's creepy.
Nick Avocado, I think his name or something. Mm-hmm. But he's lost a lot of weight since then, so he's doing better.
So
yeah.
But anyways, folks, you know, do go support us if you can. If you want to. I'm not forcing you to do shit. And I'm not going to blackmail you with any pictures or anything. And check out all of our stuff at all2real2.com. Our links to all of our social medias are there. And be good to each other. And just remember that I love you. Sesame loves you. And until next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production.
Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.